Hello, and welcome to Ameliorate. This is going to be another demo video of the changes in the recent few months, and will also be in blog format, which there'll be a link to the blog post in the description below that you can check out. Before we get into the feature updates, some non-feature updates. I have been looking into starting a nonprofit for Ameliorate. And also spending some time trying to expand the collaborative reasoning community, kind of a broader community than Ameliorate. And for the nonprofit and the collaborative reasoning community, there's more description of that in the blog post, so you can check that out if you want. Without further ado, let's get into the feature changes. All right, the first thing is this summary view. It's kind of hard to get to, but it's here. And we're going to make a smaller screen here because this is kind of motivated by mobile, wanting to have a mobile-friendly view, particularly for newer users that aren't familiar necessarily with navigating a diagram. It's a column-based view here. This is with no node selected, so this is like the topic overview. You've got core nodes here. These are just the problem and solution nodes. In the future, you'll be able to select which nodes are the core nodes. Sometimes it's not always one-to-one with the problem and solution nodes. When you click on one of the nodes, you can see a little more information. It's trying to capture everything like for this node type. So we're looking at a problem right now. What are the questions we might have for this node type? So you can see we've got a couple tabs here. We've got concerns. So why do we care about this problem? What might we want to try and address about it? We've got the solutions. What ideas do we have for solving it? And nuance is just the which justification do we have? What research is relevant? And there's an all tab that just kind of shows all the relations. So it's kind of fun to click around. You can see for a cause, the main columns are just like causes and effects of this cause. It's a street going downhill, kind of causes cars go too fast in my neighborhood. I'll put a link in the description to this specific topic. You can click through if you want. There was an annoying refactor I ended up doing. Basically, the edge labels now are consistent, where before you may not have noticed, but let's see. So I have an old, the previous update deployed here, so you can see the old version. Some of the edges were not in active voice, so it'd say oh, this was created by that, rather than reading from the problem saying this creates that. Also, you won't see created anymore. It's just all of its causes, so it's consistent edges here. I'll just select these so you can see it. So this created by that. Instead of that, we're now pointing the other direction, saying causes. The next thing, we'll have to go to this tab. So next thing is disagreement scoring was added. So right now you can see my scores on this map, and I have, for the demo, added another user has set scores here, so you can see I'm comparing scores. There's kind of like a pie chart behind the scores. So the blue is someone scored a 9, and the red is someone scored a 3. Well, sometimes you get a lot of scores to look through. Maybe you're looking at this whole diagram. It can be kind of annoying if you're trying to identify where the disagreement is, where you disagree most. It can be sometimes harder to see the pie background. So now there is this aggregation mode for disagreement. And basically the higher the number means there's more disagreement. So you quickly scan got some 2s, not too much disagreement there. And the 7 down here stands out. Oh, we disagree here. And then you can have that conversation about it. The next thing is the hidden neighbor pie. So in the old version, you could see this blue dot kind of indicates that there's a neighbor to this node that's hidden. There's a couple here. Now, instead of a blue dot, you've got a little pie of that shows like the number of nodes, and also has the colors. If you see a hidden neighbor indicator, then you can now quickly know like, oh, there's a benefit there or a detriment based on the color. I do think that kind of overlaps with the score colors and look. So I'm on the lookout for better UXs for this, or better ways of showing this information that don't have as much overlap. Let me know if you have ideas. So the next thing you might have noticed here, the add nodes buttons have slightly changed. So previously we would show all of the possible nodes that you could add. Kind of a lot of options, and you have to like hover to see what I'm adding, unless if you know by colors already and by icon. So now there's an add button, and it's kind of sorted by what's common to add and uncommon to add. It is a little slower for experienced users to do like click, click. I've got ideas for kind of improving that. We'll think about that in the future. You'll also notice actually in this add button, there's this connected nodes multi-select here. This just shows all the connections that you can add or remove some connections. I will just undo both of those things. But the main motivation for that was like if you have a really big diagram and you want to connect this guy way over here to this guy, it's kind of far, you might have to zoom out a lot. So if significantly reduces throughput, you can just search for it here, significantly reduces throughput, and boom, you create the edge that way. Next up, the background of each node is no longer white. Now it's kind of a very light version of the node type color. Someone in the community in the Discord suggested that. I think it's a great idea. So just looks a little more modern, I think. Let's see. Some viewport animations were added. So there is this copy link to node button, which you can do that. And when you load the page with that new link, it'll like zoom in on that thing. Just if you want to share a specific node, that can be kind of nice. The last thing here is node text resizing. Sometimes, it's hard to figure out how to break down the text to fit, and you go over. Now you notice like the font changed a little bit, and as you keep going, this is the max, I think. Here. So this scroll bar is what would happen before, but now you've got a lot more space if you really need it. Hopefully you don't have to use it too often, because I do think that the nodes can get kind of harder to read when they aren't like brief snippets in them. But yeah, so that's kind of a neat thing. All right, so that's all the demo for today. For next time, I do plan on, there's a couple of diagram visualization and navigation features that I plan to focus on. You can check out the backlog, which will be linked in the description as well, for kind of all the little things I plan on working on. And I'll also be spending some time gauging interest in Ameliorate, doing some more reaching out to communities and groups. So if you have ideas for people that might be interested, let me know. Yeah. So I think that's all. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.